Hey everybody, Deplorable Bobby here. This is the way I see it. When I get started this morning with my silver bar giveaway. 2 silver bars given to a subscriber who leaves a comment in the month of May. I want to thank my subs, I want to thank my viewers. Be sure you hit the like buttons. The more time you hit the like button on my comments and videos, the more my video will be put out for recommended viewing. I want to start off this video with a little short thing, and it's not really newsworthy, but it was something I came across and it just made my blood boil. This is a story about Brian Bellis and David Flippin, both 23, were arrested in connection with a video posted to Snapchat showing Bellis urinating on a memorial at a playground in Mays Landing. The memorial is for Christian Klopp. Christian died in 2012 from an inoperable brain tumor. Bellis was arrested Sunday along with Flippin, who filmed the sick video. Bellis was charged with lewdness, disorderly conduct, and an open alcoholic container. Bellis apologized, but his father took the right steps to punish him for his son's outlandish behavior. He fired him from the family's heating and air business. The owner, Bruce Bellis, apologized to the Klopp family for the actions of his son. People, that's one time social media helped put one of these little sickos, behind bars for a couple of days to urinate on the memorial of a 12-year-old kid who died of brain cancer is the utmost disrespect to all children. He claimed he was drunk and he didn't know what he was doing and he really didn't mean to do it. But people, this is another indication of our young people, how they're so desensitized towards anything that we consider to be good common practices as human beings. To urinate on a memorial is total desecration. It's a crying shame. But thanks to social media, he's in jail. I'm sure he's out by now, but he got his chance to go to jail, and that was worth it all. Everybody, I wrote this report yesterday morning that I'm fixing to do, and then I saw last night that the American Joe Show had already covered this topic. But I do my research, in the afternoons, and then I report the next day. So I'm a little bit behind on this story, but Joe, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to give my take on it as well. This report makes my blood boil. It makes me so mad. It just tears me up, people. Why are we releasing a man from jail who should never be on the streets of America? I'm talking about the traitor and Taliban fighter John Walker Lynn. In 2001, Lynn was captured with a cluster of Taliban fighters after their leader had surrendered. Once imprisoned in Afghanistan, he was interviewed at length by a CIA operative known as Johnny Mike Spann. The first American to be killed in Afghanistan was Mike Spann. After many hours of interviewing Lynn, he remained silent. He didn't say a word. Lynn knew there was going to be an uprising planned for the prison, but he refused to warn Spann. Hours later, Lynn and his fellow detainees erupted in a violent revolt that left Mike Spann dead. Lynn was charged with conspiracy to commit murder due to his participation in the revolt. Get this, patriots. When he went to trial, 9 out of 10 charges were dropped. And get this, people. He was convicted of disobeying an executive order. That's all he got charged with. 9 out of his 10 charges were dropped. People, it's wrong. He ought to be in prison for life. He should never see the light of day. Lynn is from California, and I pray that he goes back there when he gets out of prison on the 23rd of May, because I sure don't want him in Georgia. I don't want him anywhere on this East Coast or the Southeast. I don't even want him in California. But that's where he comes from, so maybe that's where he'll go back to. Lynn is still as radical as he ever was, and he still calls for global jihad and writes extremist texts from prison. He said many times that once released, he will continue to spread violence and extremism of the Islamic faith across America and the world. Patriots, once again, the penal system, along with the judicial system, is broken, and it has failed us, we Americans. How can we be willing to turn this Islamic terrorist loose in our country and in our neighborhoods, knowing he will continue to destroy all who are not of Islam? We know full well that Lynn will spread his hate for America and for Christians far and wide, and will radicalize many to follow his violent Islamic beliefs. Yet on May 23rd, we will have a new monster turn loose on innocent Americans. No American will be safe as long as this animal is free to roam our neighborhoods and our towns. I want to ask you this, people. I'd like to know who dropped those 9 charges. I think he needs to be brought before a judge and a jury. It's wrong. They do this stuff all the time, and that's what really ticks me off about our judicial system. They get somebody on a multitude of charges, and to keep from going to trial, they'll say, well, if you'll plead guilty to this lesser charge, we'll drop the other charge. People, that's not right. Lynn should have been charged on every single charge that was brought against him in the very beginning. It's wrong any way you look at it. And it's a crying shame for Mike Spann that he lost his life because of this Islamic terrorist called John Walker Lynn, who is fixing to be turned loose on America in just a few days. People, we need to stop this kind of stuff. All we're doing is putting criminals and terrorists in our streets. And I promise you, people, after he gets out on May 23rd, it won't be long before John Walker Lynn will be back in the news. I'm Deplorable Bobby, and this is the way I see it. Pray for our children. Pray for each other. I'm Deplorable Bobby, and this is the way I see it. And I'll talk to you again later.